interesting developments about the F1 engine regulations for 2031 or maybe 2030. So they are thinking about moving back to V8 engines and moving away from these like super hybrid type setups. And opening up the engine regulations would be very, very interesting from engine designer and manufacturer like us. So in case you don't know who we are, we're Elmer Racing. We designed and manufactured our first engine in 2017, our Thor engine. That's the highest power to weight ratio circuit racing engine. And yeah, we currently design and manufacture racing engine, hypercar engines, and aviation engines. So what it would take for a small designer and manufacturer for us to be interested in getting into Formula One engines, the regulations would need to open up quite a lot. So there would need to be actual competition. Like the regulations cannot say that every engine has to be exactly the same, but we need to be able to compete. So let's say power to weight ratio wise, or power to cost wise, or fuel efficiency, or on some regards that would be very, very interesting. So we would not want to waste resources. There are so many other things we could use design and engineering talent on. We don't want to spend time figuring out how do we increase oil consumption as much as possible, because the oil doesn't count towards your fuel energy budget, or how to increase the run compression ratio as much as possible compared to the measured compression ratio that the rules limit. And this is like not a useful waste of resources for humanity, so not something we would be interested in. But if that opens up, so if it would be something like the turbo era, or post-turbo era, or maybe even pre-turbo era, yeah, that could potentially be very interesting. Time-wise, so we would be like a manufacturer like us, we would probably be looking at 6 to 12 months to set up F1 engine department, all the facilities, stuff like that. We would, of course, start developing engines immediately, but realistically, probably after the full department is set up, we would be looking at somewhere between 1 and 2 years probably to have an extremely competitive engine. So we would be looking at something like latest by mid-2029 to have a fully race-ready and tested engine setups ready to go. But that, of course, would require the F1 engine regulations to come out tomorrow, and we would have to have like F1 teams signed on within a month or so. So probably a realistic time frame would be a little bit tighter than having basically unlimited time, 3 years. But yeah, we would probably do it in 2 years, I think, on the lower end of things, and have a workable solution. But realism-wise, well, first of all, probably politically, I'm not really sure how the F1 politics work, but I would assume that realistically you would probably need to have the big engine manufacturers signing off on that. Very doubtful that they would be interested in that, but you never really know. Then, of course, F1 would need to pivot completely around to where they're currently going, where every car, every engine, every setup, every turbo, every tire has to be exactly the same, and move more towards engineering competition again. But I mean, that has previously worked and had a huge popularity, like the turbo era, post-turbo era F1, the Group C Le Mans stuff had huge followings with very open technical regulations. So there's definitely precedence in that working. But yeah, if they were to pivot away from the current setup and opening up the engineering stuff, of course, I mean, there needs to be some limitations to keep speeds in check, to keep it safe. Of course, that is very, very important. But there are like a multitude of ways that you can do that while still keeping the engineering aspect open. But yeah, if that were to happen, we would be extremely interested. And yeah, what do you guys think? Would you want to see new engine manufacturers come out of left field into F1 and really compete there or not? Would there maybe need to be more F1 teams for that to be feasible or not? There are aspects of the F1 regulations probably that we're not aware of that yeah, maybe you know a little bit more about. So I mean, yeah, we would be very interested in hearing your thoughts and feedback also.